What is up? Today I just wanted to upload a quick Banlist Prediction video for the upcoming Cyberstorm Access format. It's going to start in a little over a week, I think about 2 weeks, until the new set drops. But I think before then we need to have a ban list to shake things up. Otherwise the meta is shaping up to be really horrible. It's already pretty bad, and I think it's going to be much worse if we don't have a ban list like immediately. So this is what I think is potentially reasonable, not just like a complete wish list. Yeah, so let's just hop right into it. For bans, Bandit Expulsion. This card is absolutely degenerate. It's not used for anything aside from just locking your opponent out of playing the game. Anyone who's saying to ban like Gimmick Puppet is coping, because there's like 10 different targets that they can use to summon to your field, like Ra's Disciple, Ito, Ibli even, and a bunch of other stuff. This card is the problem card, obviously, and needs to go. There is a new Albaz fusion that's coming out in a couple sets that does a similar thing, but that one is much easier to stop because it has to summon from Graveyard, I believe. Whereas Expulsion can just summon from Banished, which can like play around Ghost Spell and nearly every way of stopping it. So yeah, this card needs to go. Next we have Diablos as the Mind Hacker. Yeah, this one's pretty obvious. Obviously there's the 5 zone lock, which is very annoying to deal with and is pretty much an FTK. But one of the other issues that it causes with the format is that people have to play like multiples of cards in their extra decks that they otherwise would not be able to, so it takes away like quite a bit of freedom from deck building. So this card is a big problem and needs to go. And for other cash hits, I think Unicorn, Planet, both need to go to 1, as well as Birth. So Unicorn and Planet are the best starters in the deck, because I mean Planet is just another copy of Unicorn or anything in the deck. So having multiple of them is like makes the deck like frighteningly consistent. I don't think Konami's actually going to hit Fenrir or anything like that, because Fenrir is splashed, or it's able to be splashed into so many decks that I don't think they're actually going to hit him. So I think Unicorn is most likely to be hit, and Planet as well. And I also think Breath should go to 1, because this card is like so broken. It's actually one of the best cards in the deck. If you play against it, just gets like so much value for them. All 3 effects are insane. Like the disruption to be able to banish your cards in your graveyard is just very stupid. I think that card should also be limited. That should be enough to rein in the power of Castira, at least to a somewhat reasonable level. I don't think they're actually going to go after a Rise Heart or Shangri-Ira in the extra deck. So I think these are like the most realistic hits. Next for banned, Dimensional Barrier. This card should have been banned a while ago. Obviously it goes in and out of being like good in formats, but it's just a very degen card. And it just makes formats very unfun when it's in it. Featherstorm, for some reason, Flu is still seeing results. I don't think the deck is very good at all, but I mean, this card is probably one of the reasons why it's still seeing some wins. It's just very cheesy. It gets too much for too little investment. It's much better even than D-Barrier, which is kind of messed up. And then for hits to Sprite, so I think, yeah, Sprite definitely needs to be hit some more, because it is still topping consistently and even winning large events, despite Elf being banned. So clearly they did not hit it enough. So I think limiting Blue and Starter and Angler while we're at it is a pretty decent start for that. Starter is just like, when they have access to this card, it just makes it like so much harder to stop them. It makes the deck extremely resilient to hand traps and have a very strong, or a much stronger Grand Game than they would otherwise. Now Blue is like pretty self-explanatory. It's just a very good card that gets everything started. For Angler, I mean, this is like a small hit, just putting it to 1, but like when they have 2, it's actually very annoying how many bodies they can generate off of just 1 normal summon. And the fact that Angler's effect is not once per turn is pretty disgusting. So I think putting it to 1 is like okay. And for Ibli, I think Ibli should go as well. Again, like it's not necessarily the most popular, but in the YCS winning list, he actually did play Ibli in the side deck, because it actually is extremely it's an extremely good card that not only insulates his board from hand traps, but also like Nibiru, but also locks your opponent out of playing the game entirely. It's just very unfun. And with the new Code Talker support coming out, people are going to be doing like U-linking and also setting up Ibli which is, again, it's just like another FTK. It's basically the 5-zone lock for Castera, except arguably even better. Yeah, Ibly needs to go as well. Not used for anything fun, just for locking people out. Prosperity is a hit that I've been calling for a while. This card is so powerful for consistency that I think it needs to be limited. People can call it sacky, but it's not sacky. It's just a consistency card. It's not like Called by the Grave where you sack the, or like Harpy's Feather Duster where you sack the 1 of and win the game. This is just a consistency card, so I think it's perfectly fine to put it to 1. It so greatly increases like the consistency of not only Castera but every trap deck, every flu, and every deck that can manage to play this card. It's just too powerful to be at 3. Yeah. Then for Runic, I think Fountain needs to be limited, definitely. It's about time this happened. Runic has somehow avoided to manage being hit, but it's always been like near the top, in contention with the top decks, and especially now it's starting to see more results with Runic Naturia. So Fountain needs to go to 1. Tip should probably go to 1 as well. It's a pretty big hit, but I mean this deck is like so prevalent and the engine has seen it so much that I think they should probably do both of these hits. Put both of them to 1. Yeah. Semi-limit, I think Pankratops and Miscellaneousaurus could potentially come back to 2. Obviously, Konami is going to be printing some more dinosaur support in the upcoming sets. I think it's Wild Survivors or one of those. So having Misk at 2 would make the deck better, but not like crazy. Still loses to like 1 hand trap, potentially, unless they manage to solve that problem. And then Pankratops is like, I don't know, it's probably just worse overall than Fenrir, at least in current format. So having it at 2 is not problematic and at least gives another way to go second. Yeah, going second is going to be very hard with Super Heavy Samurai and Pearly running around in the next format. Hard Porter to 1, I don't know why this card is still banned, honestly. Definitely, I mean, it could come to 3 probably, but they're going to put it to 1 first. Engage to 2 is I think somewhat likely. Sky Striker's completely fallen off. They're saying like no results. The deck is like pretty much unplayable, at least against the likes of the top tier decks. So Engage could probably come back to 2 with no problem. Then I mean, similarly like Solomon Great Gazelle, deck is not good at all. So this card could also come back to 3, but they're gonna probably put it to semi-limit first. And yeah, that is my ban list prediction. I don't know if we're going to actually get a ban list before Cyberstorm Access drops. That it's possible that we just don't get a ban list at all, and we have to deal with full power cash as well as Super Heavy Samurai and Pearly, and who knows what else is going to be, and branded also. It's just going to be consistently annoying, but you know, we can only hope. All right, thanks for watching. Peace.